Since the beginning of President Donald Trump's unprovoked war of choice against Iran, a group of Democratic senators have been calling for a vote that would force the president to get sign-off from Congress for what he's doing. And they've now filed not one, but a whole wave of war powers resolutions. Even if these resolutions fail one by one, these Senate Democrats say they're going to force the whole Senate, including Republicans in the Senate, to vote on this wildly unpopular, inexplicable war over and over and over again. Implicitly, that means they will grind down the business of the Senate in the meantime in order to force these votes. They want a public accounting of why this war was supposedly necessary, what its objectives supposedly are, and when it will end. Joining us now is Senator Cory Booker, Democrat of New Jersey. He's a member of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. He's one of the Democrats demanding the Senate vote on the war, calling for public hearings with top Trump officials. Senator, it's really nice of you to take time to be here tonight. Thank you.
Thanks for having me on. Appreciate you, Rachel.
So tell our audience what a war powers resolution is functionally, especially now that Trump is on his own terms unilaterally started this war 18 days ago.
Well, going to war is a really significant act constitutionally. And because it's so significant, years past, they put in a lot of laws and levers to make sure that no president could do what Donald Trump is doing. And so it's what's called a privilege resolution, which we have the right to bring it to the floor. And to me, it's absolutely astounding and absurd that this Senate is not doing its job of providing checks and balances, oversight and accountability to an out-of-control executive who already has made American lives in such crisis, reckless tariffs driving up costs, cutting hundreds of billions of dollars from our health care, driving millions of Americans off of health care. Americans are seeing a cost crisis like you wouldn't believe. And then what does Donald Trump do after cutting school lunches and cutting veterans benefits? He begins to spend $1 billion a day on his war of choice. And not only those costs, but he's driving up energy and oil costs and perhaps the most tragic cost of all, 200 Americans injured, 13 Americans dead. And so how could the Senate be doing nothing? We want to force the debate, the discussion, and the hearings.
So when you say these are privileged resolutions, that means that effectively, regardless of what the Republican leadership in the Senate wants, these have to come up. These have to be put to the floor. There has to be these things have to be contended with. You and Senator Kaine, Senator Murphy, Senator Baldwin, Senator Schiff have all filed these war powers resolutions. Why do multiple of them? Is the idea to take up lots of Senate time? What should we expect in terms of what this does with the other business of the Senate, when this will all unfold? When are they going to have to contend with you guys?
Yeah, look, I've been having just trying to make it clear to my colleagues and to others who will listen to me that we can no longer have a Senate that is acting as if nothing is wrong, that we're not in a constitutional crisis, that Americans aren't struggling with out-of-control costs. We have to do something different. This war adds not only to the costs, but it also makes us less safe at home and abroad. And so this, to me, was an obvious lever. After talking to a lot of my colleagues about Tim Kaine doing this repeatedly, we all agree that this is the very time that we should be driving Americans' focus. Really what they want us to be debating and what they want us to be discussing are the issues that are directly impacting them, which is a war obviously driving up their costs, taking billions of dollars of taxpayer money, and frankly not focusing on the crises that Americans are having right now, with harder to make ends meet and losing millions, losing their health care, losing their hospitals, losing their health clinics.
What's your reaction to the president today insulting, denigrating, mocking, sort of dragging our allies for not joining some sort of effort that he wants to lead or something that he wants to do in the Strait of Hormuz? He's simultaneously saying, literally, we don't need anybody, and also saying that U.S. allies are terrible and untrustworthy and we don't need them because they should be joining us in the Strait of Hormuz. What's your reaction to the president's remarks on that today?
I think what we're witnessing here is the most monumental strategic stupidity exhibited by any president in our lifetime. I mean, utterly outrageous that he is at one time begging people to come help him with the mess that he created, causing the worst oil shock we have seen in our lifetime, begging people to help. And then when they're not racing to help him after he's already unleashed chaotic tariffs on them, after he's already insulted them before, demeaned and degraded them, didn't go America first, went America alone and really undermined all of our alliances. Now he's even going further. This is a president that says, I don't need your help, please help me. I don't need your help, please help me. All the while we're seeing this whole world really feeling the shocks of this war. And from regions, as I talk to, ambassadors and other leaders from Asia to Europe, they can't believe that we're making these strategic blunders. In the war in Ukraine, we're making Russia stronger, pouring literally millions and millions of dollars into their coffers as they're getting stronger in their fight against Ukraine, as they help Iran target their missiles and their drones. We have crises in Asia and concerns in Asia like China and their possible intervention in Taiwan. And now we see our Asian allies saying, wait a minute, we're pulling resources away from that region, all for Donald Trump's folly in his going to war, in a war that does not have an end game, especially not one without American troops, which he won't pull off the table. That is what's crazy about this man right now, is that he's out of control. But what is worse, the strategic blunder after blunder that he's making, or Republicans in the United States Senate who watch him and don't even call his administration in for hearings? No checks, no balances, no accountability. This is outrageous, and it has to stop.
Senator Cory Booker, Democrat of New Jersey. Sir, it's really kind of you to make time to be here tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rachel, for focusing everybody on this outrage. Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. I got to say, I hear when the senator says, talking about this as a strategic blunder, it really does feel like somebody who has, like, burnt the bridge, right? Burnt the bridge to where he lives and is now angrily standing on the far side of where the bridge used to be, like, angrily demanding a ride home. Like, my dude, you're the one who blew up the bridge.